Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. As always, it's me, Ivan, and in today's video we're checking out the latest release from one of my favorite watch brands. This one is part of their Narwhal collection. It features a cool design, a reliable movement, and just like the last two Phoibos watches I've reviewed, this one's built incredibly well. Oh, and that red agate stone dial, it's absolutely gorgeous. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Guys, something super important you should be aware of is the price. These models retail for around $509 or euro, but until the end of November you can grab them with an early bird discount. That brings the price down by about $100, making this an extremely tempting deal, especially when you consider the specs. So make sure to watch this video until the end, and if you end up interested, don't miss out on that discounted price. And speaking of discounts, Phoibos are also offering some awesome Black Friday deals for their other collections, so definitely check those out as well. Now that we've cleared up the price, let's move on to, you know what, the dimensions. These are actually quite compact, and I think many of you will be surprised to find out that the case diameter is only 38mm. Yes, on the wrist it does appear a bit larger because of the case shape, but overall, this is a very wearable piece. The lug-to-lug is also nice and short at 46mm, and the thickness, including the crystal, comes in at 11.9. Then we've got the lug width, which is 20mm, and sized for my 17cm or 6.7-inch wrist, it weighs 159 grams. But don't you worry, because when it comes to wearability, this model is super comfortable. It sits nice and flat, and the weight feels perfectly distributed, so it doesn't feel top-heavy at all. But best of all, it looks fantastic, and with this orange dial, it's definitely going to attract a lot of attention. Next up, we need to talk about the design. The Narwhal actually takes some inspiration from dive watches of the 70s, and more specifically from the Doxa 600T. However, Phoibos have clearly done their homework here, because while you can spot a few similarities in the case shape and bezel knurling, the Narwhal still feels very much like its own thing. Honestly, if I hadn't literally googled, "Is the Phoibos Narwhal an homage?" I would have never guessed it shares any similarities with watches from the 70s at all. So guys, if you're looking for a diver that captures that retro charm but still feels fresh and original, I think you will really enjoy this one. When it comes to the build quality, Phoibos didn't cut any corners here. It's made from 316L stainless steel, and it's got all the bells and whistles you would expect, such as a ceramic bezel insert, a sapphire crystal with air coating on the inside, and 200 meters of water resistance thanks to the screw-down crown, and this super cool case back with a big, deeply embossed narwhal on it. In addition, the finishing is great too. You get a mix of fine vertical brushing and some mirror-like polishing, which not only makes the watch feel nice and premium, but also really enhances that retro design. And since we're talking about the builds, we can't skip the bracelet, because this thing deserves its own moment. It's got this really nice flat beads of rice style design, which adds even more to those vintage vibes we just talked about. It's also just as well made and well finished as the case, and resizing it is super easy since the links are held together with screws. And yes guys, the on-the-fly adjustable clasp that came with the previous Phoibos models I reviewed here on the channel is back again, so getting a perfect fit is basically inevitable. Overall, I would say the bracelet is fantastic, it looks great, it feels great, but if you ever get tired of it, you can swap it out in seconds thanks to the quick release spring bars. In fact, I think one of these rubber straps with orange stitching would be the perfect match. Before we move on to the most exciting part, we just need to check out the bezel action real quick. You get the usual unidirectional bezel with 120 clicks, and the action itself is good, just a bit on the stiffer side. And because of those polished sections, you might need to adjust your grip a little to get it turning. But other than that, it's totally fine, and the alignment is absolutely spot on. Alright guys, it's dial time, and I'm just gonna say it straight away. I'm obsessed. This thing is made from natural orange agate stone and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Every dial has its own pattern, so technically I can tell people my watch is one of one, which feels pretty cool. Now what really completes the look are the indices. They're oversized and immediately reminded me of something between a Seiko Willard and a 62 Mass. They're chunky, they're bold, and they catch the light beautifully thanks to the polished edges. The hands follow the same theme, rectangular, big, and super easy to read at a glance. So overall legibility here is excellent, and even in weird lighting conditions, you can tell the time instantly. There is also a date window down at 6 o'clock, and I love how they executed it. It's nicely framed, it blends in really well, and it doesn't mess with the symmetry of the dial at all. And of course we have to talk about the lume. Most of it is BGW9, but Phoibos also mixed in a bit of C3, and the result is honestly one of the most impressive lumes I've seen in a while. Guys, this thing glows like crazy, and it holds that glow for a very good amount of time. I guess the only thing left to talk about is the movement. Phoibos have been using Miyota 9 series calibers in most of their recent watches, and the Narwhal is no exception. This one comes with the 9015 or the 9039 if you go for the Aventurin no-date version. And you know what? I don't really have anything new to report here. These Miyota movements are just solid, they run at 4 Hz, they're reliable, they're smooth, and they usually perform way better than their specs suggest. In fact, fully wound and sitting dial up, mine is running about 6 seconds fast per day, which is excellent. There you have it guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the Phoibos Narwhal. Truth to be told, it has impressed me more than I expected. The 38mm size makes it super wearable, the retro-inspired design really stands out, and the finishing is really good. The bracelet is incredibly comfortable with that on-the-fly clasp, the lume is bright and long-lasting, and of course, this orange agate dial just steals the show. On top of all that, you've got a reliable Miyota movement, keeping everything running smoothly. Combine all of this with the early bird pricing Phoibos is offering, and I think this is one seriously tempting watch. That said, I know retro designs aren't everyone's cup of tea, so if that's the case, definitely check out Phoibos' website. For Black Friday, they're offering 20 to 25% off on their other collections. I would especially recommend taking a look at the Vortex, as it's probably one of the cheapest watches you can get with the Sellita SW200 movement, and it's a really solid piece. That's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this closer look at the Phoibos Narwhal. If you did, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, as I've got plenty more watches coming up that I think you'll love. I would also love to hear your thoughts on the Narwhal, so drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching guys, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.